As promised, we are investigating careers in commercial real estate. And today, I have for you Senior Vice President of JLL, Danielle Watkins. She has made her way through her career in project management to the ranks of Senior Vice President. While this is not a position you can start with coming straight out of high school or out of college, it is somewhere you can progress to. The beginning of this field is project management, or associate project manager might be a role you could start with. I will represent project manager as associate project manager roles. Danielle will represent the progression in this field to senior vice president. So Danielle, tell us, how did you get started in project management? And what kind of education did you receive that prepared you for the field of project management?
I have to be honest. I did not go into school thinking I wanted to be a project manager, didn't even know what project management was. I did not go into school even knowing that I wanted to work in commercial real estate. I really didn't understand the difference between commercial real estate and what we probably see more often is, the real estate broker, someone's trying to help us find or purchase or sell our homes. So I wasn't exposed to any of that actually until I was later in my college years. And while at Florida A&M, better known as FAMU, go Rattlers, a competitor of JLL came to interview. And before they interviewed, they did a informational, just kind of told us who they were, what they did, and the type of opportunities that were available in that field. And so as someone who always knew that they liked real estate, this sparked my interest because although, I still am kind of a residential broker on the side, I wanted to do more than just that. And so this gave me some exposure. So I actually took an internship with that company, had an amazing summer. They offered me a position to come back. I only had one semester left of grad school at that time. So finished school and moved right back to Chicago to take a full-time position. And I guess you could say the rest is history from there.
Ah, so you didn't even know about project management before you were introduced to it. Well, of course, subscribers, that's why you are subscribed to this channel, so we can tell you about those obscure careers that you barely ever hear about. But they're high paying. Project management has a starting salary in the $60,000 range. You can get that directly out of school. And the trajectory for that salary is in the 200,000s. It sounds like a great career to me. So Danielle, tell us about how you progressed in your career from project manager up through senior project manager and then through several levels of senior management.
So when I took the full-time position, I actually started in a rotational program. So I spent my first year spending 3 months with 4 different services or type of businesses that are available within commercial real estate. And that gave me even more exposure to the industry and to the opportunities that were available. During those experiences, I was exposed to project management, loved it, knew that's where I wanted to go, but there wasn't an opportunity right then and there for me. So I did actually a couple of other things, learn more about different service lines, and even ended up leaving that company to come over to now JLL for the right project management opportunity. And then the story isn't as far from history from there, because even in coming to JLL, I started with a company who actually decided to drop JLL as a client and had to make a decision whether I would leave JLL and go work for that client or that account or stay with JLL. And I actually decided to leave. Leaving though was a good decision, I think at the time. And I'll say this, it allowed me to maintain my current manager, maintain my current role and responsibility, but had a pretty nice increase in pay. And so when I decided to come back to JLL, I could then come back and demand that pay or higher. And I think that really helped kind of catapult from a comp perspective. When you're within a firm, there's limitations on how much you can jump from one role to the next, from one year to the next. And so kind of leaving and coming back, I think allowed me to get a little bit of a jump start.
Oh, that is great insight for our audience. Really great insight.
Yeah, and so I actually left as a project manager, came back as a senior project manager, and then, like I said, came back with more comp. And then that I just came back very intentional. When I was with JLL for that 1 year, I didn't really network. I didn't get to know JLL and what they all had to offer from a career standpoint and for me. And so when I came back, I immersed myself in the company, learning the opportunities, really learning people and some of the key players. And I think that work and being very intentional about my connections and about verbalizing what I was then looking for and looking to do also helped advance my career. I then began to develop mentors and champions and people who could speak on my behalf and who were at the table and in rooms that I wasn't yet privy to, but yet could speak on my behalf, could mention my name. And then when those opportunities came about, my name was at the forefront of people's minds, or they would give me a call, shoot me an email, and ask me if I was interested. So I think one of the key things in really helping me advance my career, moving from just a project manager now to a senior vice president, is really making those connections and then being intentional and telling people what it is that I was looking to do, wanting to get exposure to, and asking them for help.
Okay, so that's an excellent point. You had a sponsor, someone who's in the room who has your name on their tongue so they can bring your name up when opportunities arise. That is something we all need, someone to advocate for us in our careers. So as a project manager, our job is to deliver a product, a unique product to the client. We do it on time, we do it on their schedule, and we do it on their budget and with the quality they ask us to do it within. And that is what is unique about each project. Even if it's 15 McDonald's centers, all of them are in a unique location and have different constraints, and therefore they are each a unique project. So that's something great to know about project management and what you're doing. Now, the day-to-day for project management may look like checking your schedules, checking your budgets, making some phone calls to the contractors and vendors you have working with you. It may also include going to the job site and seeing if the updates you've been receiving from your vendors are actually true. If what's happening on site is at the level of expectation that you need to communicate to your clients. So this may be a job for you if you are saying, I don't want to sit at a desk for 9 hours a day. Because with this role, you're up making phone calls, you're up checking on job sites, and you're meeting with people throughout the day. And sometimes you're at the front of a desk, and sometimes you're in the field. So that's one skill set that you would need in project management, is the ability to read floor plans by architects and designers. You need that so that you can communicate with those you work with, your building contractors and GCs and vendors who are going to implement the work on the drawings. And then you need to be able to communicate to your clients who may not have the skills in this profession to be able to read plans in a simple way, an understandable way, what's going to be happening on site and how it's going to impact them. Now, those are the skills you need as a project manager. But Danielle, once you get to a leadership position such that you are in, what kind of skills did you have to develop to progress from project manager to senior leadership?
I think as you progress from just being a project manager to being a people manager, the focus on your skill set moves from being more hard and more technical skills to softer, more leadership skills. Because my primary function, although I'm in project management, is strictly managing people. I am no longer managing projects. And so some of the skill sets I think that are really important to move into those leadership roles is around communication. And I think that's key at all levels, really being a project manager, because we're constantly communicating and keeping our stakeholders up to date on just what information is related to their projects. But then as a leader, as a manager, I have to then be communicating to more senior leadership, to my management, to my team, making sure everyone's on the same page, be the point of escalation if there's issues, and be able to communicate and help coach my team through those challenges. I think also being able to work with diverse teams is really important as well. Being able to, and when I say diverse, it's not just skin color or sex, or it's not just based on the things that we can see, but there's all kinds of diversity when it comes to thought and the way that people work, even communication styles. And so being able to work with people who operate and work differently than maybe you do. You also need to be able to motivate and inspire people, and even coach people to maybe work differently than what they're used to, as your client or your managers may have different expectations than what someone's used to. So I think a lot of leadership capabilities really resolve around working with others, communicating with others, inspiring them to be able to do the work, coaching and mentoring them and helping them to be successful and do the work, are really what you start focusing on when you become that leader and that people manager versus being the boots on the ground in the field.
And that is a great segue into what does the day-to-day look like for someone in senior leadership in project management?
My day is a lot of meetings. I am typically joining meetings of my team, the meetings that they're coordinating and having with people about the project, one as a support system, but two, also just to make sure things are running how they should be. I'm having meetings with my management and maybe senior leaders from the client perspective, giving them key information, key updates, or escalating any risk or trying to work with them to mitigate risk that's associated with our projects. Every now and then I do actually go out to the sites myself and take a look at things, see major projects, especially to see what my team is working on, see how progress is going. And for me, being able to see it just helps me relate to the project a little better. And so, most of my day is just around what I feel my job is, which is to support my team. So I'm there to support them, be available for them. If they have questions, if they need help, if I need to guide them, if something's gone wrong and they need examples of or ideas of how to do something differently, or if they are experiencing something for their first time and it's maybe something I've experienced in the past, then I'm just there to help guide them, direct them, and be a support system for them as well.
All right, so here we go. So tell us, Danielle, what is the best part of your job?
Oh, this sounds cliche, but it really is working with people. I enjoy not just sitting at a desk, 9 to 5, head down, typing on a computer. I like conversing with people. I like the interaction that I am able to have with people, and that's probably the best part. JLL has amazing people. It's a very team-oriented firm, and so the people at JLL I actually enjoy working with. And so they say you spend probably more time with the people at work than you do sometimes with the people at home. So it's important that you like them, right? And so I found that I like the people that I work with and the people that I've come in contact at JLL. So I think people, and that's one of our really pillars and one of the things we really take a pride in here at JLL. But I can actually support that. And I really do enjoy the people that I work with.
All right. I'm not going to ask you what is the worst part, but tell me about the part of your job that maybe did not meet your expectations once you got into the role, or perhaps it doesn't match your personality type. Tell me about that. Because for those of us who aren't in this role yet, we may be looking what parts of this might really deter us from choosing this field, versus things that we could say, well, I don't like this particular part, but I can get over it for all the great things about this field that I like to be doing. So tell us about that, Danielle.
Probably the least favorite part is that once it gets to me, there's a fire, more than likely, right? I'm the point of escalation. I'm probably always putting out a fire, an issue, having to escalate something. So more than likely, once the information gets to me, there's a problem. And so putting out fires and dealing with problems all day and have to resolve things, it can be stressful if you allow it to be. I try not to. However, always being maybe the bearer of bad news to a client, or always having to, inform your own manager that things aren't going as we had planned or want them to go is not the most ideal situation. So that's probably my least favorite part. Right.
Donyelle, I really want to thank you for being with us today. Your insights have really opened doors for so many of us to understand more about the field of project management. It's great to know that there are so many of us out there who can grow from your insights and glean from your knowledge and experience. Thank you so much again for being with us. And next week, we'll be talking to another professional in the commercial real estate field. You won't want to miss it.